Excuse me. I got to work. Can you rub that in?
Hey, Dan, thanks for thinking of us, guy. I hate it that you're having such a bad time in Florida. Meanwhile, we've got monster trucks here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Hogwood along with Scott Douglas. Some upsets last week.
And that's got a big impact on the Final Four we're going to see, and it's shaking up the point standings, battling for that Pace Motorsports $100,000 point fund at the end of the season. Gravedigger, the point leader, not in the Final Four. Both Monster Patrol and Samson have a great chance to make up ground, maybe even get the points lead if they can take the whole shooting match here in San Antonio. But Gunslinger and Reptoid are both looking to make a huge upset tonight.
Well, with the upsets from last week, I think we're in for some great truck action tonight. Hang on, it's TNN Motor Madness Monster Jam, and it's coming to you again from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. We got monster truck action next.
I never thought.
Jam here, Monster Jam. Boy, if we got a TNN Motor Madness show for you on March 5th. It's going to be something, Scott.
Off-road from San Diego, huge classes of awesome stadium off-road vehicles as the U.S. Off-Road Series not only hits San Diego, but hits your living room here on TNN Motor Madness.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, and we look forward to that. And again, it's March 5th. Mark it on your calendar. San Diego, the U.S. Off-Roads show. TNN Motor Madness.
You're going to love it.
Here we are back at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Monster Trucks semifinal action. Coming up right now, it is Monster Patrol and Samson.
Paul Schaefer bringing out the Monster Patrol Chevrolet against Dan Patrick's awesome Samson. These two are among the elite in Pace Motorsports Monster Jam action. They're lining up right now. The winner goes to the finals. The loser's on the trailer.
In case you missed our show last week, we were talking about Samson and Dan Patrick, what a great mechanic he is, does it all, lives out of his hauler over 300 days a year, and that's quite a contraption itself, and I love this truck.
Remember, with Gravedigger out and Barefoot already out, the winner of this race has a great chance to move up in the standings as they battle for their share of the $100,000 Pace Motorsports Monster Jam Point Fund. This is a big race, and it is tight.
Dan Patrick, a 20-year veteran, he has been in many of these kind of big races on this Chicago-style course. How about Samson?
I'll tell you what, Monster Patrol almost pulled that out on the final leap, but he comes up inches short. Watch, out of your screen, you're going to see Monster Patrol out of nowhere, but just not quite enough. Samson, consistent all the way around. Dan Patrick's in the finals.
All right, our another semifinal, it will be Reptoid against Gunslinger.
No great action coming up this weekend. Tomorrow night at the Rosemont Horizon, also on Sunday afternoon, Monster Patrol and Samson will both be there, and you can look for trucks like Gunslinger in the Hampton Coliseum tomorrow night.
Reptoid with a pretty darn good start here.
Remember now, it's Gunslinger and Scott Hartsock, his kid's birthday, and he really wants to come up with a victory here this weekend for him. He is hitting the hammer right now. Can he put Reptoid away? Yes.
How about it? Gunslinger did it with horsepower. And remember, on this style track, you got to be able to handle all to get around that turn. But as in all monster truck action, it comes down to what's under that hood.
Scott's fired up. Go ahead and put more candles on that birthday cake because the son's going to enjoy Dad in the winner's circle.
Still to come on Monster Jam, we got Quad Wars. Hang around. This always gets exciting.
The Dome was the Crusher's doom last week in round one. And just when you thought the Gravedigger was out, he's back. See who claims the title in Texas. Plus, the Quad Wars points battle heats up. You won't want to miss TNN Motor Madness. Friday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific before Roller Jam on TNN.
We have had some exciting Quad Wars on Monster Jam, and we're going to have some tonight. Let's catch you up, though, on the standings, where our teams stand as we go in tonight. San Antonio getting set to go against St. Louis.
We have seen
1998.
Tell you what, Tampa traditionally is one of the great stops that Pace Motorsports makes, and there you can see the action. Off-road competition was incredible.
Gunslinger looked pretty good in monster truck action, just like he's done here in San Antonio.
Scott Hartsock really making a name for himself, but he's got to do it against one of the big boys. Grave Digger in the house. Look at that race.
Grave Digger here in San Antonio, DQ'd a week ago, so he's not in our show tonight. Watch this Thrasher. Oh my, almost went over.
Great save. In the final, Grave Digger barefoot, and barefoot out-muscles the Digger machine.
Now watch this. Into the boxes. How is he? He's fine. Boy, that was something. Sold out crowd, jam-packed here into the Alamo Dome. Not here with us, though, is Dan Moriarty. Let's check in with him.
What does thunder body mean?
Thunder body.
Huh?
I don't know.
Thunder body.
You have no idea what thunder body means.
No.
Well, you got me on that one.
I got myself on that one because I have no idea what thunder body means. Give me a thunder body pose. This is my thunder body pose.
Me?
Yeah. Thunder body. Look at that. That is a thunder body pose. We're going to talk to you about thunder body. How's that?
They call it a thunder body. It's a full body replica of some production made vehicle. And this particular vehicle is a 97 extended cab Chevrolet, and that we've done quite a few modifications to make it fit. And the purpose of them bodies was to try to bring recognition to something that the crowd could recognize when we were running, because a lot of our other bodies we called open wheel bodies was configurations from things a long time ago, and really nobody really knew what they were unless you told them, because they were, at that time you just had to have a body on. We put this safety hatch in here just in case if the car caught on fire. We do have a safety wall or a firewall in the car, but just in case it caught on fire and you couldn't get out of there, we brought this safety hatch in. You just flap it open and climb right out, unbuckle yourself, and get right out of the car. So we took a truck, made it like a funny car, as close as possible, kept it safe, and just tried to make it as light as possible to still compete. And that's kind of what we've done.
All right, Dan, thanks for that information. By the way, Dan Moriarty's got a tough life. Not with us here in San Antonio.
I must admit, Dan Brown's explanation of a thunder body with the Mind Games truck a little bit better than our boy Dan Moriarty's.
Yeah. Dan in Tampa today, as you might have glimpsed by some of our video clips of him. Huge crowd here in San Antonio as we get ready for the sand drags. This is always a lot of fun.
Out of Bethlehem, Georgia, the Fat Cat will line her up against the Gardner, Massachusetts-based Quicksand. Again, pound for pound, maybe the most powerful vehicles in the world. The horsepower to weight ratio is awesome on these babies. Boy, and I'm going to tell you what, Quicksand flat cut that sand.
Yeah.
That's 2 seconds through 100 feet of sand. He flat burned it up.
It's a huge engine, as you can tell. That got off the start great and never let up.
That name we mentioned so often, Keith Blackhemy, that's under the hood in the Quicksand machine.
All right, now next up, it is Mind Games and Obsession. This should be a good
That'll be an outstanding matchup. Yeah, Dan Brown out of Gillespie, Illinois in Mind Games, but Boulay got a great shot off the line, an outstanding hole shot for Obsession, and he held it all the way down the course to win by about 3/4 of a length.
Well, Obsession with some horsepower, and Chris Baller waves to the crowd.
Well, another Texas. You know, the Texans are having good runs here in San Antonio.
Out of Red Oak, Texas.
Here's the lady taking on the big boys. Shay Clark and Foolish Pleasure against the Kentucky Dodge, Magnum Force and Greg Jones.
That is Shay Clark on the near lane. It was a good start for both.
And she got him.
Wow.
Nice run for Shay Clark and Foolish Pleasure. Look, is she excited or what? Pumped up, and so are the San Antonio fans. I'll tell you, Greg Jones and Magnum Force just never got it going.
Looked like he had a little problem there, too. Got off course just a little bit. Greg Jones, tough run. As you see, watch Jones. Yeah, he pulled off to the right there.
Once those wheels come up, you're done. You've got to keep the power to the ground.
Now it's Red Devil and Spider going head-to-head here in our sand drag competition.
Spider, closest to you, Bill Hazelwood from Sherman, Texas, against Anna, Texas driver David Hunt in the Red Devil Chevy Suburban. Doesn't look like the Suburban you drive home, but it did start as one.
Wow.
Give the win to the Spider 3 and Bill Hazelwood, 1998 Chevy pickup, getting down the lane in time to win it.
Look at him kick up that sand. Those back wheels really churning there.
And it's going to be a solo run for Never Satisfied here with James Carr just to qualify for the next round. And nice run by James Carr. Now, you know, that is got a 510 Rodec engine, another of the real big power plants that make a lot of horsepower.
James Carr out of Trenton, New Jersey with a solo run has successfully completed it and will move on.
You get a look at it again on the replay. Never Satisfied, outstanding run. Didn't have to race anybody, but you really want to still put down a good time.
We got a lot more fun in the sand. Sand dragsters coming your way here on Motor Madness. Got a very, very special show, an off-road show. Should be great.
U.S. Off-Road Championship Series hitting sunny San Diego for what's going to be an awesome night all across the board. You don't want to miss it. Some of the greatest competition that Pace Motorsports has to offer. Several classes, huge fields of stadium lights and pro quads and thunder bikes. You're going to see it all on Motor Madness March 5th. Don't miss it.
All right, 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
All right, now we talked about it on last week's show, and safety is back again. This week, we're talking about RII, Remote Ignition Interrupt. You guessed it. The section is, what's that all about? Hey, good.
Seriously, once we flip over at a pace show, there's always an official running to the back of the truck. What they're doing is pulling this ring here.
This is going to enable any power to go into any unit and shut the fuel off. So between the two units, there's no power or no fuel that can go through this truck while it's on its side or it's on its top.
That's the RII, it's the remote ignition interrupter. When we pull the line, you see the drivers putting their arms outside the windows. What they're doing is making sure that we're not touching nothing so they can shut the truck off by remote control in case anything happens. It's another one of the safety features that keeps the drivers safe and the spectators safe to make it a safe sport for everybody, for the driver and the spectators.
What that does, it shuts the truck down at a touch of a button if the truck's incapacitated in any sorts. If it's out of control, if throttle sticks or whatever, we can shut that down at any time. This is the tether cable that's hooked to the rear of the vehicle. When you see us come to the line, you'll see us pull up and stick both hands out the window. That's telling the men behind us to come up and hook this to the rear of the vehicle. They have two switches in the end of the truck that this hooks to that's shorter than the track. The track's 120 feet long tonight. These will shut our engines off. When the truck reaches 110 feet, it will shut the engines off, and then we're on our own then to get them stopped because of the fact that if we go out with full power, we cannot control them in the stopping distance. So this is the main safety feature to shut the engines off prior to us leaving the track under full power.
United States Hot Rod Association action always puts safety as a priority, and that was a great piece to show you, both in monster trucks and in sand drags, how they can make sure those engines get shut down and to make sure nobody gets in trouble, or at least in as little trouble as possible.
Back now to our next round in our sand drag competition. Red Devil, Never Satisfied, David Hunt and James Carr.
Should be an outstanding race. We saw Never Satisfied look really good in the first round, and Red Devil, David Hunt cut a pretty good line as well. So this ought to be a dandy as they match up side by side. Pace Motorsports action from San Antonio.
Wow, that's pretty close.
It was a wheel. That was the difference.
Yeah, a wheel.
Never Satisfied, though, coming out on top. And that modified, I don't even know what you call that. But nonetheless, what you call it right now is fast.
Fast and a winner. Obsession and Spider up next. Bill Hazelwood and Chris Ballhead ready to go. It is Hazelwood who will be on that outside lane.
In the first round, Obsession cut the best lap, so we're going to see if Obsession can continue to stay at the top of the list.
Obsession based out of Red Oak, Texas. Nearby, that 99 Dodge.
Well, the Spider 3 is another Texas truck as well, out of Sherman. And the Spider pulls it off. I thought Obsession would be the favorite in that race.
Really surprised that Hazelwood was able to pull that out. Bill Hazelwood, as you said, out of Sherman, Texas, in the Spider 3.
Got a great hole shot. And again, that's so critical in the Thunder Body sand drags. You have got to get off the line, and you got to get off the line quick. That's exactly what the Spider did.
And the crowd loves it here. They're into their sand drags, monster trucks, and quad wars, because that's what we got coming up next on Motor Madness Monster Jam.
Car-crushing California carnage is what you've got next weekend when the U.S. Hot Rod Monster Jam Superstars slam it up in Salinas. Monster Jam is the event of the spring at Salinas Fairgrounds. And if you haven't snagged your tickets yet, now's the time. And it doesn't get easier than this. Just log on at pacemotorsports.com. Then get to the show May 15th and 16th. Or make it a mega monster weekend and go to both shows. You've seen the monsters on TNN Motor Madness Monster Jam. Now see them live and larger than life with 10,000 metal mashing pounds of fun and fury.
And there is some exciting. If after spending a week on the road with your sweetie, you can still stand the sight of that person, you should probably stay together.
We visit home. So we're in the hauler, 3-4 days a week. We're home for 2 days, and we're back again. So we pretty well stay all year long. We try to stay on the road all year long, and this is our business, and that's, if we're not on the road, we're not making money.
How'd you like to spend 40 weeks a year together?
We put a lot of time in together, and thank God we like each other, because things can get very hectic. But she knows what I need, I know what she needs, and we've been doing it long enough that we kind of click,
Jack and Rocky Caberna drive and maintain Cyborg together. From their second residence in Little Tulia, Texas, they travel the country together.
Well, the relationship started with the idea that I knew what he was doing for a business. So I had to go into the relationship with the commitment that I was ready to go on the road too. So I did, and we do real well.
What happens when things don't go so well on the track?
I have a lot of respect for what he does out there, and I'm not in his shoes, so I can't make that call. But I can surely chew my fingernails in the process. That's my right, is to chew my nails, I guess.
Rocky may chew them down to the quick, but she and Jack are committed to racing Cyborg.
There's no set date. I'm going to go until I have no more enjoyment in the sport. And I really enjoy the racing. I love it. I mean, I eat racing, I sleep racing. I mean, I race at night when I'm sleeping.
Any advice for newlywed monster truck families?
We kind of try to outthink each other sometimes and gets us in trouble, but we do pretty good.
So, well, Jack would let you drive the truck?
Only in the parking lot.
Ain't got quite that far yet. Soon, I hope. I keep trying. I keep talking and talking. It's like we need another woman driver in this sport.
Just a neat couple, It really gives you a great opportunity there to kind of see behind the truck, behind the wheel, what's going on and getting it here. What I find interesting, though, is you've got a great couple like that. They get along so well. They're in love and like each other so much, work together so well. Well, we're about to go down now here in a minute, and I think, and see people who don't like each other too well, because we're about to go back to quad war racing.
Action?
Always exciting action wherever the U.S. Off-Road Championship Series goes. You can see in the stadium lights, Joe Price had trouble keeping it on two wheels, but he did get the victory. You'll see him coming around to the checkered right now. Price able to get it done despite that problem.
Suppose we could say the price is right here.
Was there.
Yeah, it was.
Super modified buggies, and Corey Withrell has really been on a roll. Gets it done again as he comes away the winner in Houston. Now, you want to talk about something wild? The stadium sport trucks are insane.
And this is some of the stuff we're going to see on March 5th, too, isn't it? This is
from San Diego.
Yeah.
There you go, up on the side. Jerry Welch, who actually flipped his truck. Woo. There is action on every part of the course when you see the U.S. Off-Road Series come to town. And again, we can't wait to get them here on Motor Madness.
And we will have them on March the 5th Here in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, it is time to move back to sand drags. Foolish Pleasure, Shay Clark on the outside lane there. Quicksand.
She'll be going up against Quicksand. Now remember, how you determine the winner in the Thunderbody Sand Drags is each truck gets 2 runs, and the fastest lap of the night's the winner. So right now, Obsession at 2.017 is sitting on top. And obviously, Chris Belay of Red Oak, Texas, hopes nobody can get under that 2.017.
Get ready to watch the tree lights. Oh, man, there's a problem on the start. Foolish Pleasure is going to win.
Yeah, she got a nice-looking run in. Shay Clark had a great run right there. However, not going to be quick enough to knock Obsession out of the top spot. She still is going to finish among the leaders. And as you can see, it was a terrible run for Quicksand. Just couldn't keep her straight.
Looked like he was in Quicksand. Mind Games with Dan Brown, Greg Jones, and Magnum Force. We'll see what they can do here.
Again, watch the Christmas tree lights when they come down, as you'll see it. And there it goes, green. Oh, look out, in trouble. And off the course, automatic disqualification right there for Mind Games. I mean, Dan Brown just lost it. Luckily, he didn't get in any worse trouble than he did. And Magnum Force, it's been a tough night for Greg Jones all the way around. He'll get credit for the lap, but it was 4.9 seconds, nowhere near the top.
And neither one of those are going to compete or challenge for the win in the sand drags here in San Antonio tonight.
Well, Obsession is going to have only one more bullet to dodge, but first, look at this. Mind Games really, if he gets up on those cars, he's in real trouble, so it was lucky for him he was able to get it straightened out once he veered off course.
And we got Fat Cat with a solo run here.
Out of Bethlehem, Georgia, a pretty good run, but it's not going to be enough. Matter of fact, at 2.8, won't even make it, looks like, into the top 5. So Boulay and Obsession out of Red Oak, Texas, despite Fat Cat's run here, able to come away as the Thunderbody Sand Drag champion. I know the San Antonio fans loved it. You can see it, the Spider. Bill Hazelwood comes in second. Never satisfied. Good run at third. And look at the lady, Shay Clark, with a strong 4th place finish in San Antonio.
Red Devil comes home 5th in his Fat Cat, Magnum Force, Mind Games, and Quicksand in our Sand Drag. Final results of the competition here in San Antonio.
Watching the Thunderbody Sand Drags, you saw everybody really had to cut that light really quickly. Let's find out more about the Christmas trees on how it works.
Those lights over yonder, they're pointing to the inside of the track. That way there's nothing over there to get run over other than just a little light bug. The inside has got the photocells that receive the light. When we roll the wheel into it, it'll pre-stage, which will light the top 2. We roll 8 inches, it lights all 4. At the time they're lit, that's telling the timing table both trucks are ready to go at any time. She can give us a start button. Once that's done, the truck will move 3 feet, then the clock starts. And when the clock starts, the racetrack race for 120 feet side by side. At 120 feet, there's another set of clocks identical to these that will stop the clocks, which will give you a time for that run.
And that's how it works, the Christmas tree lights. Hey, we got the Quad War Finals. This is going to be something. No holds barred. Hang around for this.
The Monster Jam SummerSlam World Tour kicks off with a rowdy, revving road trip to Syracuse, New York, June 5th and 6th at the New York State Fairgrounds. It's going to be a high-flying, gear-jamming, tire-slamming good time guaranteed. Log on and get Monster Jam tickets today. Check us out at pacemotorsports.com.
You do that so well. Antonio, we're getting ready for what I think Scott's going to be a great monster truck fight.
It's got it all. A couple of guys who are really trying to move up in that battle for their share of the $100,000 Pace Motorsports Championship point fund. Sampson and Gunslinger in the final.
Dan Patrick, certainly the veteran, but remember, Scott Hartsook, the pilot of Gunslinger. Son's got a birthday. He's got all kinds of reasons to win, and he's had a great night here in San Antonio.
Every motorsports fan's dream, Ford versus Chevy in the finale, and the Chevrolet-powered Sampson got a good start, but having trouble bogging down in the turn. It's Gunslinger.
Gunslinger in the Ford is your monster truck winner here tonight.
just that little bobble in the turn cost Dan Patrick the victory. And looky here, gonna freestyle a little bit. Scott Hartsock is one happy monster truck driver.
Fought off a lot of stiff competition here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, and on this very difficult course, the Chicago-style course. Give Gunslinger a lot of credit. He really accomplished something with this one.
He's just having fun right now, letting the fans see him and just doing a little freestyle for him in San Antonio.
And the crowd at San Antonio really appreciative of his efforts and what he's done, and they like their monster truck action here. Sampson, though, give him a lot of credit. Dan Patrick, and we've told you a lot about Dan, and the veteran of so many years and so many monster truck wars, and gave it a good run.
This may be one of the most popular points of Pace Motorsports action when you see Pace Motorsports Monster Jam. As after the races are done, these drivers want the fans to really see the trucks in action. And in freestyle, look, they can just go do whatever they want. Sideways, tear the course up, it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you, the more these fans at San Antonio yell and keep rocking, the crazier these guys get. It's fun.
It's fun for us to sit back and watch a little freestyling.
See how relaxed Dan Patrick looked in there in the wheel as he was gunning that 10,000-pound monster? Just had the wheel kind of in one hand, having a good time.
Yeah, these guys are having a lot of fun right now. They have worked hard. Both of them made it to the finals on a very difficult course. And there's your winner, Gunslinger.
That's what you really got to love about this. The $100,000 Pace Motorsports Monster Jam point fund on the line for the racing. This is all for the fans, and you can see these guys absolutely let it all hang out. And it's just going to be this way every week on Motor Madness. And when you look at the quad wars that we're building up to the championship toward the end of the year, some great Pro Stadium trucks, I'll tell you, every Friday night, this is the rocking place to be.
It was the place to be here in the Alamo Dome, I can tell you that. We had a great crowd tonight, enthusiastic. They were really into it, and just shows if monster truck action or a monster jam comes anywhere near you, make sure you go out and experience this live and in person. Well, our drivers have climbed out of their machines. Let's go down and visit with them now.
Well, you know, Scott's really an up-and-comer. He's really running strong. I never took him for granted for a minute. The change comes a little bit. It kind of threw me off balance, but I'm not going to make excuses. You know, I knew he was going to run really hard. And I just got beat. You know, that's just the way it goes, you know, and got a long season. And the thing is, just getting to the finals, you know, I'm happy with that, you know. And so law of averages usually catches up with us, you know. So it was a good show. Nobody got hurt. That's what, you know, the main thing. It was a safe show. It was good racing. And Scott flat beat me. That's all there was to it.
He's driving a Ford. I love him, but I hate him.
Come on back when you want to play.
Hey, you know, we came in here tonight, you know, like I said, we did a lot of traveling. You know, we've had problems here and there. Thanks to the guys down there at Audie's Performance Perfections down there in Sarasota. Mega Power, my wife, my mother-in-law, Dottie. It's my son's birthday tomorrow, so I'm going to dedicate this one to him. You know, I can't be there for you, Michael, but Dad took it in the Alamo Dome. Went out here, had Patrick in the final rounds with Sampson. You know, he's tough. You know, he comes in here with some big old strong arms like that. But, you know, hey, it was just our night. You know, what can I say? I can't say enough for the truck. These people here, Hot Rod, TNN Motorsports, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for being here. God, I don't know what to say. I'm jacked, and I'm going to cruise on down the road.
Yeah, Scott Hartsock is fired up about what has happened here. Congratulations to him. Hey, let's go back to the beach and check in with Dan Moriarty.
Well, it's time to say goodbye from Tampa. It's been tough. It's been fun. But it's been really hard work for the most part. So long. Bye now.
Yeah, it's a tough life. Huh?
We'll make it rough on him next week, and he deserves it.
How about our Maylocks Minute here? Dan Brown had some tough times in mind games, didn't he?
Boy, he's lucky to keep it off its lid, I'll tell you what. And, hey, let's go ahead and pick up another Maylocks Minute. This is from the Stadium Lights. That's a definite Maylocks Minute. Whoa.
Fortunately, though, everybody okay. Hey, for Dan Moriarty and Scott Douglas, I'm Mike Hogwood. Thanks for being with us tonight on TNN's Motor Madness Monster Jam. We'll see you next week.
Cool. Killer?
Let me tilt with the camera. No. Oh, yeah. There he goes. All right. Go home already.